idea for a business, but then stopped short of developing it because you didn't know where to go next? Well, we have someone here who can help. Quan is a mentor at Mountain View-based 500 startups, and he is here to show you how some of the most exciting startups here in the Bay Area went from idea to reality. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. So let's first start with yours. You know exactly what this is like. You created a very exciting transportation startup called Prong Motors.
Right.
Take me through from idea to you just recently sold it in June.
Yes. So Prong Motors is an idea that I've had in my mind for years and years, and I've never had the opportunity to do it because I've had a regular job, kind of a 9 to 5. I actually got laid off from my corporate job in January 2009, and I'm driving home. I'm very, upset. I'm talking to my wife. And the next day, she says, why don't you just go do your startup that you've been talking about for so long? And I've been working in startups since I moved to California, but I've never started my own company. And so literally the next day, we started Prong Motors. We sat down, started sketching out cars. And within 9 months, we had a fully driving prototype that we were taking around the roads in Mountain View.
Something you never would have done had you not had that layoff. So
Right.
Something terrible, like a lemon that turned into great lemonade.
Yeah, that's usually the best time to start companies are in downturns like this recession. Labor's a little bit cheaper, people are available. They're really great people that don't have jobs. And it doesn't seem fair, but you can always kind of create your own job by starting your own company.
So what happens next? You've already sold your company.
Mm-hmm.
Will we see these cars out and about?
Yeah, hopefully. We've sold the company to another company in Virginia that manufactures these three-wheel vehicles. So their promise to us was they will do some additional R&D, probably spend another $1 million or $2 million to develop the car to a fully finished product and release it, sometime in the near future. So we want to see these on the road.
Fantastic. So your company, 500 Startups, also helps to mentor and facilitate development of these ideas and turn them into businesses. Let's talk about a unique one called Culture Kitchen.
Sure.
Tell us about the concept.
So Culture Kitchen, the concept is they teach you how to cook ethnic foods with grandmas that you wish you had. So Culture Kitchen has these in-person classes that are very, it feels like you're in the kitchen of that person. It's held at Whole Foods or larger venues, but it's very much one-on-one. So you get the experience of learning directly from someone who cooks these types of cuisines for their family. And then they also have an online platform that allows you to access the recipes and then also get the ingredients that you need to cook these dishes at home.
Very cool. See, I think what people think of when they get the idea of a startup is, it's got to be something tech or engineering, and I don't have that skill set.
Right.
But clearly this is something that was born of someone's love of cooking.
Yes, definitely. So Culture Kitchen started at Stanford in the design school, and the two founders are just really wonderful women, Jen and Abby, and they were both Stanford students that had this great idea. And it's a tech startup in a way that they use technology to facilitate, the cultural sharing that they do. But at the heart of it, it's around an idea of getting people to teach each other, things about their, culture through food. And
So
it's such a great connector.
It's physically in kitchens and online.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the advice then that you would give for people to pursue their passion and actually turn it into something real.
Right. So I think the hardest part is getting started. And a lot of it is people, there's a lot of resistance to it. Not everybody believes that your idea is the next big thing. And it may not be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Like, you may not come up with the next Google, but you can create a viable business for yourself. So I would say give it a shot. Like, there's really very little harm if you're not doing anything else. Like, if you're unemployed and you're looking for work, don't just sit there, but work on something, work on a project of your own. And that project may take on a life of its own, and that could become a company.
And can they come to 500 Startups and get some mentorship there? How does that work?
So the 500 Startups program is a little bit different. They're very focused on tech startups and consumer internet. I'm a mentor there. I'm not an executive there. 500 Startups is run by Dave McClure, who's a dirty VC, as he would call himself. So 500 Startups invest in companies that will make money for them. That's the ultimate business. And they help those companies with an accelerator program. And they have mentors like myself that help those companies along by providing advice and giving feedback on the product to make sure you're not going down the wrong road.
But there are plenty of small business resources out there that are free and open to people.
Sure. So SBA is available. I went to the public library. Those resources are available. You don't necessarily have to have a lot of money. You don't necessarily have to be, a tech genius. Just be passionate about what you're building and make sure, this is the key, make sure there's a customer for it. Because there's a big difference between building a business and doing a project. And so if no one's willing to pay you for what you're building, it's not really a business.
Okay, let's talk about mistakes that people make. What are some of the common don'ts when it comes to starting a startup?
Well, there's a lot of don'ts. I think, Dave and Eric Reese, he's the guy who came up with the Lean Startup idea. They're doing a talk at the Commonwealth Club tonight. And a lot of the thinking is around testing your idea and doing what they call a minimum viable product. And the lean startup principle is like, you start building things and you make sure that there's a customer for it. Like I said, make sure somebody's willing to pay you for that product before you go too far along. So you don't waste time building things like we did in a way with Prong Motors. We built the car in seclusion for a year, and finding customers for it was really hard. But you can do a lot of customer development early on and just figure out, is there really a market for three-wheel sports cars?
And with social media, maybe you can get that kind of crowdsource to begin with.
Yeah, so definitely go out and test your idea. Go beyond the kind of friends and family, because you'll get a lot of adulation and a lot of support there, obviously. But you want to make sure that it's a mass market idea too, and it's not just your friends being very nice to you.
Quan with 500 startups, thank you so much for being here and for your advice. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot.
Let's turn now to our meteorologist, Jeff Ranieri, who is standing by. Jeff, any great ideas you want to share with us right now that we could turn into some money?
I do have one, but I can't share it here. I've got that in development.
Okay.
All right, yes. Isn't there that also that web company, you guys, where it'll help to back your company? I forget what that's called.
There's a lot of these companies.
Yeah, but basically you can put your idea out there and then you can get people to help donate.
I know what you're talking about.
Kickstart.
Yep. Kickstart, all right.
Yes, Kickstart, yes.
Kickstart the weather.
Yes, that's a good one. All right, we are going to be kickstarting some heat. All right, now that we've gotten that conversation out of the way, let's take a look. 90 degrees in Santa Rosa.